Good morning. And so Wednesday, we're going to be having a unit test over text features and text structures and all those things we've talked about. So today, I just want to talk to you about the things we've learned over the last couple weeks. I know we've had CBAs and things have been crazy starting a new 9 weeks, but we're still in this unit of nonfiction. And so let's just take a minute to kind of talk about these different things and some things you might see on your test. So I want to start with text structure that we've learned. We learned that sometimes an author organizes his story or paragraphs by using a sequence order, like first, next, last, then. It's going to have dates in it, things like that. Sometimes they organize their stories by using cause and effect. So here was the cause, here was the effect of that. A lot of times we see that when there's a problem, and then they tell me the effects of that problem within the town or the people or whatever it might be. We talked about compare and contrast. Sometimes an author writes a paragraph or even a whole story comparing two things. How are these two things similar and how are these two things different? And then another one that we see often is a problem and solution in nonfiction. Again, this could be the whole story, or it could just be one section within that story. A good example is the Grizzly story we read on Friday that you read to yourself or with someone at your house. And that Grizzly story, the whole thing was a problem solution. But within that story, it had some cause and effect. So it told me the problem was the grizzly bears, they were coming too close to people and things, attacks were happening because they weren't scared of people. So those were the effects. But then they told us the solution to the big problem in the end. So there was cause and effects paragraphs, but the big story was problem solution. Another thing we've talked about is text features. We have talked about how an illustration, I'm going to turn the computer so I can look at my anchor chart. I couldn't find it a while ago. We've talked about how an illustration helps me visualize what the author is talking about. So maybe he's telling me about a dog and he wants me to see what the dog looks like. A caption is going to tell me the purpose of the picture. They're going to tell me who is in it, why they're there, when it happened, whatever I need to know about that picture. That is what the caption is going to tell me, the purpose of it being there. Maps. Sometimes I don't understand where the author's talking about this place is at, but if there's a map of it, I can see where they're talking about. Charts help give me a lot of information that I, in an organized way, and I don't have to sit there and reread to understand the information. Sometimes they use bold print. When they use bold print, it's usually for vocabulary words, but sometimes they're emphasizing on a word so that I know it's important and I can understand the importance of it. And then a heading within a story. Remember, a heading within a story is at the top of the section, as this would be a subheading, and it's going to tell me what that chapter is going to be about. So, also, we want to talk about message within a nonfiction book. So remember, when it's a nonfiction book and we're talking about message, the author wants me to know the big idea of it. So the message that the author probably wanted me to learn from this book, Extreme Survival, was that animals learn to adapt to survive in different areas. And some of them are very extreme. I don't think he wanted me to learn that camels have 2 humps. Or I don't think he wanted me to learn that owls have different eyes. So the message would be, what is the big idea? What did he want? The big part he wanted me to learn is that animals survive and adapt in different ways. So when we have the test tomorrow, there are going to be tomorrow, there are going to be some text feature questions, maybe some text structure, some vocabulary questions, and things like that. So I will have a little review for you to do to practice some of those skills, and that will be your assignment for the day, is just to practice those skills so you're ready for tomorrow.